Sharks and a gator drove a jeep through the blinds. Florida man's at it again with fireworks and a goat. And someone married a ghost in a Dollar Tree coat. Hey, what in the Walmart rapture is going on? Aliens dancing in a Waffle House song. Karen's got a taser in the checkout line. And Dr. Oz just adopted birds to fight off crime. Scrolling my jaw on the floor. The internet's a circus and I can't take no more. Yeah, when it's wildin', there's a raccoon in the sink. Someone robbed a Wendy's just to steal a frosty drink. A pastor's gone viral yelling about the end is near, while folks ride hoverboards in wedding gear. Yeah, what in the Walmart rapture is this mess? Florida's a movie, but it's filmed in VHS. Someone fed meth to a squirrel named Dave, and now he's in a cage just throwing rave.
Good morning, everyone. It is the 18th of June, and I am continuing to, report here from an arc. We have storms going through all day today. Some of them might be severe, so if I manage to stay on rural internet, the internet gods are with me. I hope you're having a great morning. Let's see who's with us today. Good morning, Alice G. and Deviance Moore, Denise Sells, and Tammy C.A., Jason JJJ, and Audio Coffee. I will say that I was able to go to Walmart this morning because I needed to get cough drops and, on the down low, I wanted some popsicles because my throat is still tickly, but nothing looked good. Again, the absolute, and I mean this, confessions from a lifelong chubby kid of going into a grocery store and nothing, not one doggone thing looks good. It's the weirdest thing I have ever had in my entire life. Again, not a big, consequential problem or anything like that, but still a very weird update in my life. So I ended up not getting any popsicles, but, I got the bread and milk that we needed. If you're in a big family, bread and milk, it's a thing. I want to get a cow. I know Baker's probably looking at me like, why dost thou not make thy own bread? Well, honest to goodness, because I tried to make my own bread. We had a bread machine and I couldn't keep up with all the bread we need. Good morning, before I go, and David Nielsen, Tammy Bogart, if I didn't say good morning already, Kelly. No, I don't. That being said, I just pick the first carton. I don't search for a date. I don't drink milk. I don't care. I just get whatever's in front. That being said, I did get more Diet Pop because, look, this trial is never going to end. Now, I don't know. I guess this disgusting teacher's husband has decided to Hillary Clinton stand by his gross perv style in what can only be, I guess, his inner eye and, conscious has glaucoma. The husband of accused pervert teacher Christina Formelia is standing by her side and continues to stand by her side as she arrived at an Illinois court Tuesday to face new charges that she abused a teenage student some 50 times and started this grooming kind of behavior when he was 14. Yes, the one that said, everyone hates me because I'm so pretty. That's why everyone's accusing me of this gross stuff. No, how about because you're a gross predator? I don't care what, symmetrical facial features and Maybelline in a couple of hours can do for you, ma'am. Sorry, you're a predator. Now, Michael held hands with his 30-year-old bride, even as prosecutors alleged that she told the boy she had no intention of marrying her husband, that she was going to leave him and get millions of dollars, that she even sent the teen messages while on vacation with him in Italy. Now, Christina, a former teacher at Downers Grove High School in suburban Chicago, is now facing 55 charges, including aggravated SA, aggravated criminal SA, and grooming, and faces up to 60 years in prison. Audio coffee, I would say that, but our Lord Chippy today, like one of the stories is so disturbing that you'll see why she is just an honorable mention today. So she's facing up to 60 years, and may Jen Pop and the rest of humanity know what she did. She walked up to DuPage County Circuit Court Tuesday hand in hand with her spouse and her defense team, according to footage obtained by the Post by TikToker Abby Blabby. Now, the couple stayed mum upon entering the courthouse, didn't talk to any media. Despite prosecutors urging the judge to revoke her bail and lock her up, the judge did allow her to walk free with an ankle monitor. She knew what she was doing was wrong, prosecutor Jocelyn McAndrew said, adding that she's been unbelievably conniving and controlling. Now, she allegedly groomed this teen boy before engaging in about 50, sessions of abuse, including at least 45 times at the school where she worked as a special education teacher. So not only did she abuse this boy, but on school grounds. She also, did this during school hours, according to prosecutors, at least 5 times. Now, this abusive relationship, not illicit, relationship began in January 2023, only ending in September 2024 because the boy said it was wrong. But then she started, contacting the boy earlier when he was even 14 years old and brought up her husband multiple times. Now, she was a former college soccer star, and her husband was a college baseball player that tied the knot last summer after meeting at Concordia University, Chicago. Now, prosecutors previously said that the spouse, the husband, had no idea about her grossness. Other texts detailed a close call when another teacher almost, discovered the illicit act while in the classroom. Now, she was only initially charged with 3 criminal counts and pled not guilty to the new charges Tuesday. Authorities believe that the alleged crime was more limited, but further information has come to light with hundreds, if not thousands, of text messages. Did you have Canton PD on the Cellbrite? For the love of God, how did you miss this in the first point? Now, her defense attorney, Richard Kane, argued Tuesday that there was no reason for his client to be remanded before the trial. I see 50 reasons, if not a bajillion, honest to God, for her safety. Partially because this is, I'm just saying, family members of this child, anyone who had any sort of abuse in their background, for her safety so she can make it to trial. I'm not advocating anyone go lay hands on her or anything like that. I don't advocate violence, even though I have an anthropomorphic friend of mine for later. That doesn't matter because it's a joke and we still believe in our fractured, criminal justice system, as imperfect as it is. But at some point, there is, a safety issue, but there's also a safety for the victim. Can you imagine this child had the bravery to finally stand up, to let his parents, to understand the social stigma also that's still out there for boys, like, oh, well, she's hot, her, not realizing the power dynamics, the loss of, autonomy, boundaries. You're a 14-year-old dealing with emotional stuff that this crazy ass 30-year-old is putting on you, putting on a relationship. how incredibly damaged these boys are. I mean, we don't even need to look any further than Vili Falau. If you look at the later documentaries where Mary Kay Letourneau is trying to make him the predator who aggressed on her, it's incredibly damaging how he said he really didn't have his own identity until she passed away and he was able to have a, adult normal relationship. That being said, I guess he's just gonna stand by his woman until the end. I doubt, I do wonder as more discovery and he sees exactly what is going on, if he will stay. I don't know. I doubt it. In terribly sad news, one of the, look, Mr. Mo and I love Food Network. He doesn't like true crime, and I don't like every Tom Hanks movie ever made on repeat. So our safe place is like Food Network, Bobby Flay, beat Bobby Flay kind of showdowns. And unfortunately, one of the celebrity Food Network chefs has passed away kind of unexpectedly. Anne Burrell, she had that blonde spiky hair. You might not know who I'm talking about, but if you see a picture of her, I'm putting up now. More details of Anne Burrell's unexpected death are emerging. The Food Network star died in her home in Brooklyn on the morning of Tuesday, June 17th, at the age of 55. Now, New York City Police Department now shared that she was found unconscious and unresponsive and pronounced at the scene. About 7:50 a.m., law enforcement from the 76th precinct responded to an unconscious and unresponsive 55-year-old female, according to police telling People before everything kind of came out. Now, according to officers, EMS responded and tried to do life-saving measures, but unfortunately, she was either too far gone or what have you. Now, she was not identified as the deceased. Police revealed that they were still working on notifying, the loved ones. People noted that Worst Cooks in America star's address allegedly matched the one. So it was later confirmed that it was in fact Anne Burrell. Anne was a beloved wife, sister, daughter, stepmother, and friend. Her smile lit up a room every time she entered, their statement read. And she seemed like just a loving, carefree, great cook. I loved her style. I probably wouldn't have ever tried her hairstyle myself, but I loved it on her. I just thought she rocked it. Anne's light radiated far beyond those she knew, touching millions across the world. Though she's no longer with us, her warmth, spirit, and boundless love remain eternal. Now her cause of death was not revealed, with cause and manner pending an autopsy. The Food Network also praised the celebrity chef with a touching tribute. Anne was a remarkable person and culinary talent, teaching and competing, always sharing the importance of food in her life and the joy that a delicious meal can bring. Our thoughts are with Anne's family, friends, and fans during this time of loss. Now, she rose to fame appearing on cooking shows including Iron Chef America, Chef Wanted, and Chopped. She earned Emmy nominations for her shows Secret of a Restaurant Chef, which ran for 9 seasons. She was recently featured on a reality competition series, House of Knives. So she was really fun. It's a tragic loss. I hope her family's getting all the love and support, her husband and everything. She was just so fun and full of life, and it's going to be kind of sad to watch episodes without her now. It's so weird when you have this kind of sad feeling about a person you've never met. That being said, I do hope that she's remembered, and maybe I'll go look up a recipe of hers and share it with my family. Although my sons are like, can we just have ramen noodles tonight? And don't have the energy to fight them on that, to be honest. Now in Someone Better Call Jesus, because what is wrong with this priest? And wait till you hear this story.
Ye keep its grove, thou gloaming shrine of thirst traps, scams, and dollar signs. We chant in tones both grim and low, for virtue fled a long time ago. Kyrie eleison, Christe descendat, final form Jesus return in wrath. With six-pack glistening, sword in hand, he cometh swift to cleanse the land.
All right. Well, I mean, stranger marriages have happened, but a Texas man discovered that his ex-fiancée actually married him in absentia and without him knowing, finding a package at home days after their breakup. Yeah, this chick. I mean, I've heard that all my exes live in Texas and that's why I reside in Tennessee, but sir, I would move to Guam. This chick has crazy eyes, and she doesn't trust the eyebrows that God gave her. And what has Mo always said about that? If she doesn't trust the eyebrows God gave her, shaves them off and draws them on her own self, she's got crazy already in her. I love my women. I'm a lady myself, but look, I have to draw mine darker because I trust the ones God gave me. They're just blonde. That being said, a 42-year-old Texas man discovered that he was actually married to his ex-fiancée without him knowing when the marriage certificate arrived at his home just days after they broke up. Christine Marie Spearman, 36, is accused of sending her ex a gift bag from Bath & Body Works that contained products. I mean, I hope she used a coupon. Bath & Body Works products, ma'am. Expensive. And a copy of an officiated marriage license with their names on it for June 13th, according to Fox 44. Now, Spearman also allegedly included a photo of herself holding up the document that allegedly recognized their marriage. Now, the spooked victim, who is not named by authorities, admitted that the pair was in a relationship around June 2nd when they went to the county clerk's office to receive the license. But both parties must appear in person and have a valid ID to, receive the application for a marriage license, according to McLennan County website. Now, Spearman and her ex-fiancé never made it to the altar. The pair allegedly got into an argument when the victim claimed he didn't want to be in a relationship with her anymore. Now, she seemingly had other plans for her, his last name and her credit. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. Now, Beverly Hills Police Chief Corey Martin claimed that Spearman went behind the victim's back and convinced a pastor to certify the marriage, even though the man wasn't even in attendance or aware of the ceremony. Cat ladies don't get any ideas. I don't think in 23 years I've ever heard of anyone who managed to somehow get married to someone who wasn't present for the ceremony, Chief Martin told the outlet. Now, after the Reverend signed off on the fraudulent wedding, Spearman took the certified marriage license to her local county clerk's office and filed the certificate with officials. Now, the stunned victim learned that the marriage happened just days after he dumped her. I've talked to the victim and he's going through a significant process to try to fix this, Chief Martin added. So that's the whole situation. It's not only you have the concern of what does this mean for my safety and my property, which is a huge conversation, but also what do I have to do to fix this? Now, the police arrested Spearman and charged her with third-degree felony stalking, and she has been booked into the McClellan County Jail. Yeah, not to mention the pastor's probably going to get in big trouble. That's fraud. He's not allowed to do that. I'm guessing the clerk, yeah, this is all bad. All so bad. In an update to a case that's actually been, I think, working its way through the legal system for a long time, and I've actually been wondering what's been going on. It does seem like the Astro world that Oh gosh, it was Travis Scott. I was like, which rapper was it? The Travis Scott concert that had the horrible trampling deaths associated with it. It does look like those lawsuits are continuing to grind slowly through the legal system. A 21-year-old who was killed during Travis Scott's deadly Astro World show in Houston was suffocated by a, quote, river of people, end quote, then trampled over like trash, an attorney representing his family said during a news conference Monday. Now, lawyer Tony Busby said family of Axel Acosta, one of 8 people who were unfortunately killed during a crowd surge at the ill-fated concert, along with at least 35 others, will file suit against Scott, Live Nation, and other parties involved with the planning and management of the event, alleging their gross negligence led to the loss of life and injuries. Now, the air was basically what happens in these squeezing deaths is you get so tightly compact that you can't actually expand your lungs to breathe. When he collapsed, concert goers trying to escape their own suffocation caused the crowd to rush, trampling over his body. Emergency caregivers finally removed Axel from the thick of this mass, and unfortunately, he, was beyond help. So these are really tragic stories. I have wondered where these lawsuits, I figured they would be significant and numerous. I was wondering when they would start kind of coming back into media. Now, Busby said, that the immense force of the unruly and out of control crowd created by the defendant's gross negligence created a phenomenon known as crowd crush that left him unable to breathe and in cardiac arrest. Crowd rush occurs when you have an extremely large, highly dense crowd moving in one direction in a confined space. People involved in a crowd rush get carried by a river of people uncontrollably. So this is definitely one that I think that will be a big one coming up here soon. It's going to be a long one coming. I'm sure that each one of these defendants, Travis Scott, the record company, the, events company, they're all going to have their own team of cover their ass lawyers. So this is going to take a long time to go through. But when and if I see updates, I will bring them to you. I don't know that it will be covered since it's a civil trial, but we might get it. It's big in pop culture, and I think once we see more of this getting ready to time where there's an actual trial, I do think it will probably be streamed. Hopefully in a way that's not exploitative of the victims or anything like that, but allows them to get their stories out and hold people accountable for what does appear to be very poor planning and kind of psychology of how big crowds act. Now, I need y'all to brace yourself because this Lord Chippy, y'all, this one, the first story, I have no words. So gird yourself, y'all.
They're our skin, they steal our grace. These monsters wear a human face. No gavel, no badge, no throne, no crown can stop Lord Chippy from burning them down. Justice ain't fast, justice ain't clean. It's a long, sharp road through the in-between. So raise your fists and light your flames. Chippy's coming and he don't play games.
There are very few times where I am shocked, speechless, and horrified. And this headline is horrifying. I know this is over in the UK, but this is why this one is in with Lord Chippy, because I have no shame for I have no words. 796 passed away babies are expected to be found hidden in the septic tank at an unwed mother's home run by nuns. So this is probably going to be explosive. This is probably going to be, again, something that this entire town is going to have to reckon with. Excavation has begun on a septic tank at a site in Ireland that authorities believe contains the remains of nearly 800 passed away babies and children who died at a home for unwed mothers run by Catholic nuns. Now, many of the infants' remains are feared to have been dumped in a cesspit cesspool known as the Pit at the former institution in a small town of, okay, I am probably going to mess this up, Town, County Galway. Local historian Catherine Corliss told Sky News. Now, in total, 798 children passed away at that home between 1925 and 1961, just two of which are buried in a cemetery, Corliss research found. So they don't know where these babies are. The other 796 children's remains are believed to be under the site of Bon Scour's mother and baby home, which was demolished in 1971 and is now surrounded by a modern apartment complex. What in the Stephen King? Who the hell puts an apartment complex near this? Who the hell does that? Now, Look, known locally as a home, this was a maternity home for unmarried mothers and their children run by a religious order of Catholic nuns. Unmarried pregnant women would be sent there to, give birth and then work a year to kind of pay off their room and board for when they had the baby. They were then separated from their newborn children, who would then be raised by nuns until they were adopted, often without the consent of these mothers, the families. This was a time, the past was the worst. And God, these kids could have been going to good homes. I don't give a crap. I have told my girls this. I don't want you to have children before you're married. But if it happens, we will love the heck out of that baby because that baby is, a baby. And whatever situation a baby is born into, it's never, ever that baby's fault. Now, the full scale of the tragedy at this particular maternal home was only discovered in 2014, thanks to local historian Corliss, their findings. So finally, these children now have, a place that they can rest. Now, finally, more than a decade on, a team of investigators are going to begin their forensic investigation. So this is going to be, slow, painstaking dig to try to give these children a dignified burial in the end. Is expected to take up to 2 years to identify all of the remains, to give them a dignified burial, and offer some degree of closure to the survivors of the women that were sent here, don't know where their children are. I don't care if it's a thimble full, as they tell me there wouldn't be much remains left at 6 months old. Anne McKay, whose sister is believed to be one of the 798 victims, told Sky News. Her mother, Margaret Maggie O'Connor, gave birth to a baby, Mary Margaret, at the home after she was SA'd at the age of 17. Unfortunately, that baby passed away 6 months later, and the mother, Margaret, wasn't even told. Again, I am the world's worst Christian, and I know I make fun of that I'm a recovering Catholic. I'm trying not to put this all on Catholicism, but don't use your God to be a monster. Just ew. She was putting washing out when a nun came behind her and said, the child of your sin, oh, screw you, nun McBitchface. The child of your sin is dead. Again, oh, if you want to know, definitely, I will before I go. It's a terribly sad story. I know that I don't know enough about this, the culture, the time period. I will check that out before I go. It's absolutely heartbreaking to me. That baby was not a child of sin. That baby was a miracle. Every child, if you look at the statistics of, and I know I speak as someone who has 6 kids, but if you look at the statistics of how everything has to line up for a human to even be born, it's a miracle. And every child is here to do something, whether it's just to be a kind person or to be there for someone. I freaking just, people, I am glad that these babies are finally going to get a proper burial where their moms, their, families can say goodbye to them. In other douche canoe behavior, though not at this level, dude bro was really upset that his, fiance was driving a wedge between him and his roommate. I wanted to take less time. A man who fatally unalived his fiancée for driving a wedge between him and his roommate fantasized about doing it since early on in their relationship. Then marry your roommate because you obviously love him more and don't take it out on anyone else. Douche. And sir, you look butter soft. Like, you look like if your mom didn't get your chicken tenders with the right dipping sauce, you would cry. I'm going to tell you that you're probably going to be living on bologna for the rest of your life. So I would do some sit-ups or squats. I would maybe shave my head. I don't know. I would try to look a little bit less like as soft as Chandler Halderson before I go into the clink. Authorities in Michigan arrested a 25-year-old man after he allegedly took his fiancee's life because she was driving a wedge between him and his roommate. Seth Thomas Martin called police in Waterford Township, a suburb of Detroit, around 4:31 p.m. on Friday to say that he had taken the life of his 33-year-old fiancée, Mallory Myers. Now, Martin allegedly met officers outside with blood still on his arms. Cops took him into custody, went inside, and unfortunately found Myers beyond help, the agency said in a press release. Oakland County Prosecutor's Office on Monday charged him with first-degree murder. Now, during an arraignment hearing Monday, prosecutors laid out additional evidence against him, saying that he and Myers were laying in bed together. She was on her phone as he was watching her. According to, local courtroom report from Fox affiliate WJBK, he then took a knife and stabbed her 5 to 10 times. After that, he called 911 and dispatchers asked if he would apply pressure to her wounds. He said he couldn't because there were too many. Seth stated, "She's right here next to me and she's not looking good." He told the dispatch that he had gotten her in the neck, chest, and arms a couple of times. He stated, the dispatcher, he wanted it to take less time. So he's talking to the dispatcher saying he's gotten her in the neck for a quicker, deletion. And unfortunately, I think that the dispatcher also heard some of her final gasping and things like that. So as much as we rail against terrible 911 dispatchers, they have to deal with people at their very worst moments. So I can imagine the stuff they have to hear, the things they have to talk people through. So thank you for the good ones out there that are a, sense of calm in these crazy, crazy situations. Now, he had allegedly fantasized about, taking Myers' life very early on in their relationship. As for a motive, he said he felt that she was driving a wedge between him and his roommate. Mallory Myers wasn't a statistic. Her life had purpose, and she should still be here with us. We intend to bring Mallory's killer to justice, prosecutor Karen McDonald noted. So he is in Oakland County Jail without bond, and his next court date is slated for June 27th. Given that he's clearly outlined that this has been an intention, I don't think that first degree is going to be hard to get. He sounds like a person completely devoid of a soul and really any idea of how the rest of humanity works. But then again, there's this guy too. This Again, y'all want final form Jesus down here. This is how we get him. Unusual smell. A husband lounged on the couch with his wife's remains all around him, then stowed them in containers around the house. What in the Ed Gein am I stepping into here? A man who was reported missing in North Carolina last week along with his wife is now facing criminal charges after he was allegedly found at a residence in South Carolina, calmly sitting on a couch surrounded by containers with body parts in them. What in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is this? What in the Leatherface met Freddy Krueger met Ed Gein is this crap in a handbasket? Y'all, no. See, I am not even right with the Lord, and you're trying to bring on the rapture. I see how it is. Really should have started day drinking today. Just kidding. I know it does sound more like Wisconsin, if I'm real. It's like something out of a horror movie. Florence County Sheriff T.J. Joyce told Myrtle Beach NBC affiliate WMBF, "We found some containers with body parts in them where they appear to have been chopped up." Now, Charles Antwine, 56, that is a rough 56, sir. Holy God. Was considered a suspect in the disappearance of his wife, Christy Ward, last week when they were both reported missing in Brunswick County, North Carolina, by their relatives. The Florence County Sheriff Office reports. Antwine has been charged with the alleged discovery of her remains, but is only considered a suspect right now in her disappearance as her autopsy is still pending. I'm guessing I hope she was dead before he started containering her. What began as a missing persons report from Brunswick County, North Carolina, led SO investigators to charge Lake City, South Carolina man with the desecration of human remains. On Saturday, patrol deputies checked a local boat landing and spotted what appeared to be a roof of a mostly submerged vehicle, some distance from the boat access point. They responded and recovered the vehicle, but it was unoccupied. Now the plates were registered to the Antwines, and then they learned that he had another address in Lake City. Deputies then conducted a property check of that location and detected an unusual smell coming from the residence, and there was no response to knocks on the doors. A search warrant for the residence was obtained upon entry. They found Antwine sitting on the couch. Now, they also then discovered human remains that were described as being in plastic containers that were taped shut. So this is a lot like the Tony, Tot case from Florida, where he lived with his family's remains for like 3 weeks. Again, what in the demon is going on here? Now, police say the investigation into Ward's death is ongoing and additional charges are possible depending on what results the autopsy comes up with. He appeared in court on Monday and reportedly told the local circuit court judge that, he wanted to know if he would be on bond. This is just wrong, Ward's son, Zachary Ward, said during Antwine's bond hearing about his mother's presumed death. She's overcome so much. She's been through so much, he told the court. She just lost her father, and he was the only one left that she had other than us. Now, he is being held at the Florence County Detention Center on Tuesday, still awaiting, that bond hearing. I'm guessing they're not going to be bonded. But maybe, who knows? Now, did you have this on your bingo card? Because I didn't have this on my bingo card. But Gary Coleman's ex-wife, Shannon, is set to take a lie detector test amid suspicion surrounding the actor's 2010 death. So there you go. I guess I hadn't realized it's been that long since Gary Coleman passed away. The search for answers surrounding Gary Coleman's 2010 death is still ongoing. A new A&E series, Lie Detector, Truth or Deception. We had that already. It's called Maury Povich Show. Godoy. Yeah, don't try to take our greatest hits and rename them. We'll put the late actor's ex-wife Shannon Price on the hot seat. The 2-hour premiere, hosted by investigative journalist Tony Harry, is set to air on July 10th. More than 15 years after Coleman died inside a Utah home that he and his ex, shared. Coleman's ex-wife, Shannon, agrees to take a polygraph test to address persistent public suspicion regarding her potential involvement in his passing, even though she was never charged in connection. The episode revisits the circumstances surrounding Coleman's passing and explores whether she's been misjudged by public opinion or, whether the results raise due questions. Now, the Different Strokes star and Shannon got married in August 2007, but divorced the following year, even though they continued to live with each other despite being divorced. Now, in May 2010, Coleman suffered intracranial hemorrhage after falling in his kitchen. 2 days after being placed in a medically induced coma, she made the choice to remove him from life support. Now, many people have expressed concerns about her decision in the years since, including his former partner, Anna Gray, who claimed in a Peacock documentary that Coleman had an advanced healthcare directive that stated he wanted at least 2 weeks of care before any plugs were pulled. Now, Price also participated in that particular special, which aired in February and was titled Gary. She stated that she was in bed, and when she asked Coleman, who was born with a congenital kidney defect, she had him make her food after he got home from dialysis. Do what now? Okay. So he got home freshly from dialysis, which I have heard kicks your ass and takes a lot out of you. And she's like, go make me a sandwich. Okay. She said that after hearing a loud boom, she found Coleman, who was 42 years old at the time, in a pool of blood on the kitchen floor. In a recording of her 911 call, she could be heard refusing to listen to the operator's instructions. Now, she has vehemently denied any wrongdoing, saying that she would never hurt her husband. In an interview later that month, correspondent Jim Morit asked Shannon why she didn't try to help him. I did try to help him, she replied. I'd actually run around looking for a towel because we didn't have any downstairs. What people have to understand is that this is the first traumatic situation I'd ever been through. So, maybe an acute grief response, but definitely 2 days seems like very quick. Now, Mr. Moe and I have talked, and we kind of have a general understanding of where we each stand on, end of life care. Do we want to be, assisted to stay here or not? So we know that. 2 days, it's not my choice to make, but it seems a little that. Now, as much as they have spiked this whole punch bowl with she is all the guilty, legally, I do have to remind you that in 2010, the police chief of that locality said that there was absolutely nothing suspicious about his death. There was no criminal investigation, and his, death or manner of death on the certificate is listed as accident. So if this, sparks people's fancy to watch this, just remember polygraph tests are inadmissible depending on how much of an anxious person you are or not, or a sociopath, or, whatever. Basically, these tests are unreliable and kind of, again, there's a reason we don't use it in court. So if you want to watch this, fine. I personally don't care too much, but there you go. Well, I mean, why hasn't anyone tell me we're gonna do a Oceans 24? I could have used some money. I'm just kidding. Feds, don't look at me. I wear acrylic, ridiculous jewelry, so don't even look over here. Largest jewelry heist in U.S. history, 7 have been indicted in a massive Brinks job. It was a jewelry heist days in the making, one allegedly planned by thieves who had worked their way up to a major score after honing their covert craft in parking lots and truck stops of San Bernardino County. When they broke into a Brinks big rig at a remote Grapevine truck stop in the dead of night 3 years ago, the men may have gotten more than they bargained for, a haul that could have been worth more than $100 million. That would make the theft of 24 bags containing jewelry, gems, watches, and other precious items on July 11th, 2022, among the biggest heists of all time. Now, all of this is according to an indictment unsealed Tuesday by federal prosecutors in Los Angeles against 7 co-conspirators who allegedly carried out the theft at a Flying J travel center in Lebec, California. Now, the men were each charged with conspiracy to commit theft from interstate and foreign shipment, and also theft from interstate and foreign shipment, and some face additional charges. In all, 14 jewelers who merchandised Brinks were transporting to Pasadena were victimized that day. So these were a bunch of jewelry stores. Several suffered grave financial losses that left the trade altogether. The merchants, many of whom are based in LA, have been locked in a years-long legal battle with Brinks over the value of their stolen goods. It's a long time coming. There were times when the victims and members of the team wondered if we'd ever see success, Assistant U.S. Attorney Kevin Butler said Tuesday. Now, some of the stolen jewelry, included watches, were recovered after search warrants were executed Tuesday. Authorities also recovered large amounts of cash. Butler said search warrants are still being pursued and much of the stolen jewelry remains missing. But Akil Davis, assistant director in charge of the FBI's Los Angeles field office, said that he was gratified that they can finally begin to give answers to the victims of this massive theft and deliver them a measure of justice by holding the defendants accountable. Now, 2 of the defendants arrested are expected to appear in a federal court on Tuesday, while another is already an inmate at an Arizona prison, according to a press release from U.S. Attorney's Office in Los Angeles, which described the crime as the largest jewelry heist in U.S. history. Ranging in age from 31 to 60, all men are LA area residents, hailing from neighborhoods including Boyle Heights, Westlake, and Rampart Village. The co-conspirators, some of whom use aliases, are Carlos Victor Menzada Sarreso, Giselle Padilla Restillo, Pablo Raul Luigo Larijo. Look, I'm butchering these, sorry. Victor Hugo Valencia Sorrenzano, Jorge Enrique Alban, Jason Nelson Percia Flores, and Eduardo Macia Ibarra. Now, some of the defendants have also been charged with smaller heists throughout San Bernardino County. Now, if convicted, they could face up to 20 years in federal prison for each robbery charge, and all defendants could face up to 5 more years for the theft conspiracy charge and 10 years for any additional theft charges they get. So, there you go. Now, they began their planning of the Brinks heist allegedly at the International Gem and Jewelry Show in San Mateo, where starting on July 8th, 2022, jewelers were displaying their wares in booths under there. Now, prosecutors allege that Padilla spent the day casing out the show. Then on July 10th, the rest of them scouted out the Brinks semi-truck, which was loaded with 73 bags containing multiple jewelers' wares, according to the indictment. When the big rig departed San Mateo County Event Center that night, it touched off a complex choreography that culminated in an Interstate 5 truck stop about 70 miles north of Los Angeles. So there you go. It looks like they've been planning this for a long time and managed to pull it off and keep it kind of quiet for several years, which I wouldn't think a bunch of people with like actual literal, like, gems and jewels would, be able to keep quiet. Generally, if you suffer from criminality, you tend to have low impulse control. So, I mean, I know if I had a bunch of money, there'd be signs. There'd be signs. In maybe not this year, but maybe next year, Mo will do this. A happy story to end us off. A grandpa is showing those kids how our nursing homes are gonna be. Grandpa shows off wild skate park moves on his mobility scooter. Hold my beer. A grandpa showing off his crazy skills on a mobility scooter at a skate park has gone viral on social media. Gavin, 52, was filmed pulling donuts and wheelies on his mobility scooter at Mandurah Skate Park, about 70 kilometers south of Perth. Now, the Western Australian grandfather can be seen wearing a gray beanie, jeans, a long gray beard, and he's riding through the park on his scooter with others who are there. Footage taken by the Harrington sisters has been viewed more than 750,000 times on TikToks. Oh, cool. Oh, this is awesome. M-Spire, this is great. Because, I think this year, once I get done with being ill and tired, I want to try to do a 5K or maybe a 1K. Look, let me get to a K walk with my scooter and then we'll see how I'm doing. But I definitely want to get out and remember that I can do more active stuff. I just have to change it a little bit. Whose Gramps is this? We love this guy. Gavin told Youth Jam Online he was touched by the reaction and happy that the footage brought happiness to so many people. The amount of people it's touched just to putting smiles on their faces and got people talking about positive things again. Mate, I couldn't ask for anything more than it. That's why I did it. Now, the video showcasing this legend has received thousands of reactions on social media, with people loving the skate park boss. We need more of this, kids interacting with the elderly. Hey, he's not elderly. He's awesome. I mean, I do that. I did that on a rascal, but not intentionally. This is my neighbor. He's actually the best, one person commented. Never have I ever seen anyone do that in my country. You guys have all the awesome people doing all of the awesome things. Brilliant, another person said. And another person said, that's my spirit animal. And that's the energy I hope we take into this day 3 of Verdict Watch. I've got energy drinks. I've got cookies. God save us all. I'm sending you over to Bev. I am also over on Discord today for the Karen Reed Verdict Watch, so make sure that you guys can check out over there. As always, thank you for spending your time with me this morning. Remember, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, but have a sassy mouth and carry a can of bitch fire. Because if someone tells you you can't do this on a rascal, we have to tell them otherwise. The X Games. The Gen X Games of Gen Excellence. Sponsored by Geritol. Bye, you guys.